Greetings to everyone out there in the NoDQ galaxy. Welcome to NoDQ video here on NoDQ.com and of course the YouTube channel, youtube.com/AaronRiftNoDQ. I have your questions from twitter.com/AaronRift using the hashtag NoDQTurns20. So let's go ahead and get started. First one today comes from TommyBoy0812. Now with Ronda Rousey facing Nia Jax for the Raw Women's title, should Natalya win the Women's Money in the Bank and cash it in on Ronda if they plan on having Nia lose? Great question. I have seen a lot of people already speculating about this. First and foremost, I am a bit surprised that WWE is giving away Ronda Rousey's first match for the women's title so soon. I did not think it would happen this quickly. Chicago, I expect to be an interesting crowd. I will be there for that pay-per-view, Money in the Bank, and I'm really intrigued as to how the crowd will react to that match. Will they be behind Ronda or will they turn on the match? That is something that is still up in the air. It seems, based off of internet posts on Twitter, Facebook, and so forth, it seems a lot of people are down on the idea of Ronda getting a title shot this quickly, even though Ronda, during the promo with Nia Jax to set up the match, Ronda herself said that she doesn't feel that she's the most deserving of a title opportunity, but Nia's like, well, I challenge you anyways. So it was Nia that made the challenge, and Ronda did accept it. The question is, where do you go from here? If Ronda wins the title, it feels like it's too soon, and there's really nowhere else for Ronda to go if she reaches the top this quickly. Maybe we could have a swerve where Natalya wins Money in the Bank and then cashes it in, pins Nia Jax, then you can hold off on Rousey versus Nia Jax. You can do Ronda versus Natalya at SummerSlam, maybe then have Ronda win the title, and then do Ronda Rousey versus Nia Jax maybe at Survivor Series. I'm just thinking about this long term over the next several months, not doing too much in a short period of time. I've definitely seen a lot of different opinions, but many were expecting Natalya and Ronda Rousey to be Ronda's next big match. So maybe that will happen. Maybe Natalya will win the ladder match, and then successfully cash in the same night, pinning Nia Jax to win the title. I'm not sure where else you go with this, because if Ronda wins, I just don't know who else you can put Ronda against that would be credible enough. Maybe Natalya, but I like that idea of Natalya cashing it in and ruining Ronda's chance to win the title. I do like that idea. So we'll see if it happens. Knowing how WWE operates, something we all like, will probably not happen. I have no idea. Got this one here from Cindy. Hey Aaron, now that the All In show has officially sold out, do you think All In will be the next threat to WWE after the All In event becomes a successful show, or after it became a successful show? I think it's going to take more than one show. At least at this point, it feels like a one-off, but given the success of the event already, and we'll see how things go that weekend and how the event actually plays out, my guess is it'll be a really strong show in terms of the quality of matches. But will it be enough for the people in charge, for Cody and the Young Bucks? Will it be enough for them to do a follow-up? Will they try to make a promotion out of this? Who knows? It's all up in the air, but it is a very good sign that they sold out this event, which I was surprised because New Japan did not have really strong ticket sales for that San Francisco event, and I thought maybe there's just a very small hardcore fan base for New Japan and independent wrestling in the United States, but The fact that Cody and the Young Bucks have gotten the interest of the fans, that is saying something. Maybe this will be the start of something bigger. You never know. Never say never. But right now, I think the jury is still out on that one. Got this one here from Joshua Anderson. Can you see the winner of the men's Money in the Bank being used to take the pin for Brock Lesnar so they can give the title to Roman? I like how everybody's always thinking the worst. Always thinking that something's going to be ruined in a storyline just to get over somebody like Brock Lesnar or Roman Reigns. I would like to see somebody from SmackDown win Money in the Bank. Somebody like Samoa Joe, for instance. I think he would be a great choice. I mentioned Bobby Roode, who did qualify on Raw this week for Money in the Bank. I'd love to see him win it and go heel at some point. I'm not a fan of a heel winning Money in the Bank on the Raw side just because there's really no opportunity to cash in with Brock Lesnar being a part-timer. I've said this before. I said this last week. But I don't think we're going to see the Money in the Bank winner just be a pawn in the Brock Lesnar-Roman Reigns storyline. I know some people out there are thinking, worst case scenario, WWE is going to just blow it with the Money in the Bank contract holder. But I feel like with Baron Corbin failing last year, I think this year it's all the more important for the Money in the Bank holder, the men's winner, to come out of this as strong as possible and win the title. And like I've talked about also, maybe a babyface like Finn Balor wins it and cashes it in at SummerSlam. Something like that I could definitely see happening as well. Got this one here from JL. Why does Michael Cole keep hyping up Seth Rollins' popularity? Because Seth Rollins is hot right now. It is what it is. And I think WWE is just trying to capitalize on it. Now, my fear is Michael Cole mentioning it over and over again, just like it's boss time or the big dog. I feel like when Michael Cole does this, it makes Seth Rollins seem uncool. It takes the cool edge away from Rollins when Michael Cole is too over the top all the time, and it feels too forced. Seth Rollins is doing really well just being Seth Rollins without the company really putting a whole lot into the marketing machine. You do have Burn It Down. You do have the Curb Stomp as his finisher, but Rollins has just been tearing it up in the ring, having great performances. He had that record-breaking gauntlet match when he was in there for, 75, 80 minutes? Rollins has been just delivering night in and night out. Had a great match at WrestleMania. Had a great match at Backlash. Had a great match on Raw this week against Kevin Owens in London. Rollins is just doing really well right now, and I'm so happy for him because a year ago it felt like the babyface run was falling flat, but now it has really picked up steam and Rollins is on his way to being a superstar of the year contender. I think the jury's still out on it. I like to use that term, the jury's still out. But I think with Rollins, AJ, and Daniel Bryan, I think it's going to be a close race this year between the three of those guys. And we're only halfway through the year, not even. So time will tell. One of those three guys I think is going to be a serious contender. All three of them for that matter, but only one can win it. And we'll see who that person is. Got this one here from TJS. Johnny Gargano versus Tommaso Ciampa in a street fight at NXT TakeOver in Chicago? That seems a little redundant to me. Why are they basically having the same match as before? Why not make it a first blood match or something different? Hell in a Cell? We're going to that, TJS, so of course we want to see something like Hell in a Cell. I do see where you're coming from, though. It does seem like too similar of a match compared to what they did during WrestleMania weekend, NXT New Orleans. I would have liked to have seen the stakes a little bit higher. Maybe a Hell in a Cell match or even a cage match or a Falls Count Anywhere match, Just something to take it to the next level, just to make it different from the previous match. Now, with that being said, Shawn Michaels and Undertaker, they had very similar matches and both were great. I have no doubt that they will have a great match. The question is, can it top New Orleans? And even with Hell in a Cell or Falls Count Anywhere, it's going to be tough, really tough to top that match. But if anybody can do it, it's those two guys, and they don't necessarily need a stipulation to top that previous match. But like you mentioned, it does feel a little redundant, and maybe they'll change it between now and NXT TakeOver Chicago. You know, they could just change the format during one of the taped editions of NXT and just announce something, do a video promo announcing the match is now going to be a Hell in a Cell match or something like that. They could always do that. That's always a possibility. But either way, I think it's going to be fantastic. And so does my computer. This one comes from Perik Fearon, first time asker. Are you surprised that Titus ONeil has not received a bigger push yet for his work outside the ring, and he's got the look Vince loves? Do you expect him to get a singles push with a title in the future? I like Titus. He's a nice guy from what I've heard, and he does a lot of good work for WWE, both inside and outside the ring, but he's not the best performer in the company. He still doesn't have that it factor. He's entertaining, but there's a lot of entertaining guys in WWE, and I don't think he's going to get that big push. I see him at a certain level, and I think the company does too. I think he will be at that lower mid-card level, and I think that's where he's going to stay. I really don't see him breaking out of the pack. There's nothing that I see from Titus. With all due respect to him, there's nothing that I really see from him that screams main event superstar. He's got height. That's really the one thing that he has as far as main event qualities go. He's got okay charisma. He's fairly good in the ring. Not great. Good wrestler, but not great. In a sea of great wrestlers, by the way. I just don't think he has enough to really stand out from the rest of the pack. Just my take on it, though. He seems like a great guy, and I'm happy he's doing well in WWE, and he's embracing the Titus World Slide. And, you know, he's been around for several years. He's having a good run in WWE. But no, not everybody can be a main eventer. You know, people say, why doesn't this guy get a main event push or this guy get a main event push? Not everybody can get a main event push. That's not how it works. Some guys are going to be at the top. Some guys are going to be at the middle. Some people are going to be at the bottom. And that's just the way it is. Got this one here from Calvin. Since New Day's merch sales are getting worse now, how would you book a breakup between them? I think Big E should win the Money in the Bank match. Then the others are getting jealous, so they start to feud with a triple threat match at SummerSlam for the briefcase. I think he means SummerSlam. Sometimes you might have to specify because SS could also stand for Survivor Series, but I'm assuming you're talking about SummerSlam. That would be really interesting. I like that idea. Big E winning the briefcase, and then there's a rift, pun intended, I guess, between those three guys. And that sets up a triple threat at SummerSlam with the briefcase on the line. I think that that's a cool concept. I dig it. I dig it, brother. But I don't know if Big E's going to win or not. There's been a lot of speculation about New Day breaking up and Big E getting a singles push, and that would certainly be a way to split them up by having Big E win and there be some jealousy amongst the three of them. Maybe have the other two turn against him, and then you set up a triple threat match or a 2-on-1 match, or there's all these different ways it could go. But I do like the idea, and I think I would go with that. I cannot really think of anything better. I think it should have been done a while ago. I think the split should have happened late last year, and they should have done a triple threat at WrestleMania, but that was just my own personal opinion. I'm just so tired of the pancakes. Maybe if they drop the pancakes routine, I can handle New Day sticking around as a team for a little bit longer, but man, that just drives me nuts. I know some people like it. some fans cheer for it, but I feel it's so goofy and just not very creative. I mean, they did New Day cereal. Now they're doing New Day ice cream. What were they doing? They were doing the New Day ice cream pops or whatever it was. It's like they're covering every food group. That's how they're going to keep their act fresh, allegedly, by just going from one food to another. What's next? New Day donuts? And then they're going to throw out donuts for 6 months? I mean, come on now. This is just getting ridiculous. Got this one here from Future Shocker. Do you think The Miz could win Money in the Bank, finally putting him back in the title picture? I definitely think The Miz deserves to be champion again. He's one of the best the WWE has, in my opinion. Miz has been fantastic, and if Daniel Bryan and The Miz have a hot feud, maybe Bryan will one day be WWE champion again, and you could do Daniel Bryan versus The Miz for the WWE title. I think that would be great. I know a lot of people out there have a special place in their hearts for The Miz, and they feel like The Miz deserves better, as do I, because he's consistently getting better in WWE. He's always one of the highlights of the show, and his 2010-2011 run, I felt like that could have been better, and I feel now he's really peaking, and now would be the time for him to have a run with the WWE title. But the thing about The Miz also is that he plays that cowardly heel role, which really doesn't scream main event. So if Miz is going to be the WWE champion again, you got to be able to take the guy seriously as a credible main event talent. And I think the downside to The Miz being champion is that he does so well playing the chicken crap heel, the guy you want to see get his ass kicked, the guy who talks a lot of trash, but then he ends up getting beat up. That's the kind of character The Miz really excels at the best. The Miz is not going to be great at doing Triple H's role of being the dominant monster heel. That's what Triple H does well. Miz is better as that chicken crap heel. So I have mixed feelings about it. Does The Miz, in terms of how talented he is, deserve it? Absolutely 100%. But is his character the right character to be WWE champion? That I'm not so sure about. Got this one here from the Sinful Saint. How about this scenario? Roman Reigns shakes Vince's hand, becomes a corporate heel, and gloats that whether we like it or not, he will be the flagship star for years. It could help make him a legitimate heel and keep people booing him like a heel should be. This would be a great way to do it if WWE was going to do it. It sounds a little bit like part Rock 1998 Survivor Series and part Austin WrestleMania 17, which would work for Roman Reigns. But we all know how WWE is. They're hell-bent on keeping him a babyface. Even on Raw this week, in the script, Roman Reigns comes out there and says management is against him and Jinder Mahal is a bastard and he needs to come out and fight me like a man. All the typical stuff, babyface Roman Reigns, the big dog, and since Kurt Angle wasn't going to let him get another opportunity at the title, Roman's, of course, going to be the rebel and take things into his own hands and beat up Jinder Mahal. So I don't think anything's going to change, but I know people like to bring up these possible scenarios, and I like it. I mean, anytime Roman could turn heel and just say, I'm sick of this crap, I'm tired of being the guy that has to go out there and just get booed out of the building every night and not be appreciated. I mean, it's very easy to turn Roman into a real heel. And yeah, to some people, he is a heel right now because he gets booed, but to make his character an actual villain where he just lashes out at the people and says, I'm sick of this crap, I'm sick of being disrespected, I come out here, he can just blur the lines, take real life and put it into a storyline, and often that's the best way to do it. So it would be very easy regardless of what WWE did. The question is, would they manage to take something so easy to pull off and screw it up? That is the big question, and this is something I asked when there was consideration about John Cena turning heel. Would they mess that up? And maybe they shouldn't turn him because they'll somehow botch it. I mean, look at Hulk Hogan. That was brilliant. That was perhaps the best heel turn of all time. And that was easy. Hogan just went out there and just vented his frustrations. And it made him one of the all-time greatest heels. Alright, so that'll wrap it up for this edition of No DQ Video. If you enjoyed today's video, please share it. Tell a friend on social media. Call a friend. Text them. Smoke signal them. Whatever it takes. Please keep spreading the word about No DQ Video. Stay tuned to NoDQ.com for the very latest. And I will see you guys next time.